Boom! According to that, I am live. Welcome. This is Tokyo tonight. It is 10:30 p.m. Japan Standard Time. My name is Hiko Simon. The rumors of my napping are greatly exaggerated, although I was kind of tempted. I am tired. You can see, actually, I got some sun. It was a beautiful day in Tokyo, warm but not too hot. Yeah, I did the Tokyo Marathon today. By the way, I uploaded. Actually, I took lots of clips. Um, I wanted to capture during the run how I was at different stages. So I took some sort of selfies while I was running the marathon. I was tempted to actually, I did pack in my bag the action camera, but then I realized it'd be stupid to carry that whole thing actually on a marathon. But I would keep my phone because I want to listen to music and stuff like that. So yeah, I pulled it out and took some selfies and stuff. And they're all kind of short, and I strung them all together into a video at the end. And it was I thought it was actually it really captured even for myself. It helped me to remember how I felt at different times in the race, and I promised to put in some final thoughts, which I forgot to do. So I did that when I got home here. So I just uploaded that about an hour ago. So you can actually see it's the first video I've edited and uploaded in a while. That's on the channel. I see some of you have already seen it. And yeah, it kind of captured the day. So I had a big day today. I've been training for 8 weeks plus New Zealand. It's actually a 16-week program, so I only did half of the program, but I was training for 3.5 hours and, setting a goal of 3 hours 45, and I got 3 hours 31 and 13 seconds, according to the official timekeeping system. So yeah, I did really well. Between that and having a really busy work week, there are some weeks when I really wish I could talk about my work, but I can't. It's kind of a rule. But I've been doing really interesting and impactful stuff, which one day, I'd love to make a topic of this. But the result was I had some really big meetings, yeah, which just left me completely fried on Friday and left me really too busy to keep up with Japanese news during the week. The one thing, obviously, which I will talk about it's here. I don't think I have a lot of topics this week because of this. I'll go through what I have. I mean, it's good to maybe not have too many. Normally, I'd panic and catch up on Sunday and go through all the interesting Japanese news this week and be ready to talk about it. However, apart from being super busy with work, what I do in the morning, whenever I wake up, I always check the BBC, which is funny because for American people who aren't familiar with the British Broadcasting Corporation, but are familiar with Pornhub, apparently when saying that I rely on BBC to get through my life. Apparently, Americans can find that very funny. America is going through an interesting time with the rest of the world at the moment. I always wake up to BBC, and mainly I just like to check that the world is not falling apart. And occasionally it is. Occasionally you hear terrible news, but I want to hear about that first. But waking up to the news about the White House meeting with Zelensky, that was something. I mean, I'll get into that. I'll talk to that. But that was the only news I really even remember from this week, other than Tokyo Marathon. I put a lot of my thoughts about Tokyo Marathon into the video. I took all the clips, which are about 10 minutes, in total, about 12, or, they're all like less than 1 minute clips, including catching up with Joseph Tame. That was awesome. As well as then a quick, sort of summary and thoughts, which I'll happily expand on here and talk about it. My feet are actually right now, I've got them on ice packs on the floor, mainly because it's the soles of my feet that are the most sore. Oh yeah, shout out to Tudom in the chat. Tudom, well, actually Tudom and Lara. I saw both Lara and Tudom while I was running today. Lara was out on the course with a friend, and saw me and was cheering. That was awesome. Really, really appreciated that. And Tudom was standing like 500 meters from the finish, which, no, not kidding. That was, it was like that. I knew it was going to be hard. It's going to be hard. It was hard. And at the very, very, it was a real nice surprise, actually, in the very hardest part of the race, that I saw Tudom, and he took some photos and stuff and sent them to me. And yeah, no, I really needed, it was everything helps, again, I'll go into the race in more detail, but yeah, it was awesome to see people out. It was such a beautiful day today. So really great to see people from the chat out there. And yeah, it was a big day. So let's go through who's in the comments, and then we can talk about whatever you want, but including I can go into more talking about the race and everything. But Dan H, congrats on the 331. 331 was good. I was, I was kind of officially going for 345 and unofficially going for 330, and I was at a better than 330 pace until like the final 7 kilometers, and I sort of came off. And although I sped up for the final kilometer, it obviously wasn't enough to get under 330, but I could not have done it any differently. Yeah, I had a lot of thoughts, which again I put on the video before. Just it's a great experience. It's a really humbling experience to go out into such a massive humanity. 38,000 people apparently run in the Tokyo Marathon. I came 6,300th, I think. Um, in fact, at the end, I am very happy that I basically increased my ranking. I started like 12,000, and every 5 kilometers where they take sort of account of how people are doing, I was always improving my position. So I started 12,848. Then after 5K, I was 10,600. And at the very end of the race, I ended up 6,372, which, out of 38,000. But the thing is, yes, when you see the humanity, the people who pass you at the end, and just how many people from all sorts of different backgrounds and things, which, as much as I try to be an enlightened modern person, I still, when an old lady passes me, I'm kind of, are you kidding? Which actually shows myself. And the thing is, you have an indisputable, you can't be sexist, or you can't have prejudices, because that person, there's no opinion, there's no internet comment section involved. That old lady just kicked my ass, and I can't deny it. And she did it wearing a belly dancing costume. Holy crap, So yeah, you can't go out and say that men are better than women or anything like that. You do a race like that, it's like, yeah. You actually not only get a lesson, you actually feel it with your body. All you can do is just respect. Another thing I didn't say in that video, actually, by the way, which I would just add to the experience of the Tokyo Marathon. Yes, I mentioned how it was a bit of a death march going out to the truck to get my luggage and then coming back. A couple of friends I met up with after the race, and we sort of went for yeah. So I got some I got a coffee, ice cream, and affogato parfait, and some sort of food and stuff after. Fantastic. The coffee and the ice cream, it was everything I needed, like energy and the pickup that I needed. But I was able to watch people still running, like hours after. And even the people who are finishing like 2 hours after me, 3 hours after me, people finishing 4 hours, 5 hours after the race. I mean, it's one thing, I felt like crap. My shoes felt terrible, my feet felt terrible after 3.5 hours. These people ran more slowly, but they're running for 5 hours. Like they're feeling every bit as much pain as I did, and I have every bit as much respect for the people who were finishing at the very back by the sweepers. As the people who came in the top. It's a thing. It reminds me of surfing when you watch movies. People who don't understand surfing, when you see surfing movies made by people who don't understand surfing, they have this idea, people assume that it must be like hierarchical, people who are good and not so good, and there's like a respect thing. But no, my experience of surfing is, as long as you're not being a dickhead and breaking all the rules, like dropping in on people and stuff like that, so long as you're not being an asshole, whether you're a beginner, if you see a beginner getting up on a wave, the old time, the people who are really good, at least in Japan, maybe I surf in nice places, they're just as stoked for the people who are barely getting up on the board. And, like everybody understands what that feels like. And it's like that with running as well, I think. You are trying to run faster than everyone else, but you can't help but respect. You know what everyone's going through. Everyone's going through a lot of pain. It was a really, really nice experience in that regard. It was a really not nice experience in the fact that I currently have my feet like sitting on ice, and and I couldn't walk for a while after the race, and both my legs were entirely cramping. In fact, yeah, even trying to sit down on the ground at one point after I got my bag, I couldn't sit down using my legs because they would cramp every time I bent my leg. So I tried to use my arm to like lower myself, and then my arm started cramping. Had a lot of bananas, had a lot of water, had a lot of Pocari Sweat, which was a sponsor of the race. I'm now peeing normal colors again, and in recovery. So yeah, it was a great day. Anyway. Sorry, that was a very long response to the comment on well done getting a 331 time. But there we go. Cobra Senshi second, Void Theft third. Didn't expect a live stream after the marathon. Yeah, well, here I am. I did get a bit of a rest after, but I didn't go to sleep. I showered, did some stuff. I'm at home at the moment taking care of my son, who was alone for most of the day. Yeah, I'm definitely going to sleep well tonight. I'm worried. Am I going to be like limping around at work tomorrow? I'm slightly worried about that, but yeah. Cobra Senshi, by the way, Scandal's got a new track, which I actually bought and downloaded. So yeah. Scandal's guitarist, Mami, apparently was also at the Tokyo Marathon. Well, there you go. I'm not sure if she was running, though, since she ran the marathon in Osaka last week. Okay, that's crazy. I know a guy who ran in Osaka last week. It's the one thing about, again, about this time of year as well. In Osaka last week, it was snowing. It was like, and I had a Kiwi friend who ran it in the snow. And I was worried because of how cold it was last weekend. It was like 3 degrees in Tokyo as well. And I was out buying warm weather running gear. I don't know, it was 20 degrees Celsius, which, I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. What is it? It's 32 times 2 plus the number or whatever. So I guess that would make it like 80, high 80s. It was lovely and sunny. Like you said, I got slightly sunburned today. So, yeah. Lara, thank you, and thank you for the wild cheering with your friend. that was very much appreciated. And it really it made a difference. It was really nice. So thank you for that. DJ Sunny Side Up, am I still alive? Barely. Yeah. You must be so tired, which, by the way, is the exact translation of otsukare-sama desu when you say good job. Sometimes, when you're saying otsukare-sama desu, like good job to someone, you're actually using the Japanese phrase like, wow, you must be tired. There are so many situations where I think like good job or congratulations. Someone retired from work the other day. The guy's been working his guts out for years. And it's like, you want to say, like, good job, all the years or whatever, like, congrats on the retirement. But what you really want to say is otsukare-sama desu. It's such a better phrase, especially after a marathon. Otsukare-sama desu, right? I love that phrase. And I love the fact that it means that, yeah, I'm tired, but, honestly, my mouth would move even when the rest of my body was paralyzed. So I can still do the live stream. So long as I'm sitting down, which I am doing. Did I have a nap? I did not have a nap. Hardcore. I'm gonna have a 12-hour nap after all this is done, but I'm good. Sadiq, always aware of whether Lara is in the chat or not. She is here. Sadiq is also here. Nice to have you in the chat, Sadiq. A man from Florida. Good to have you in here. And hello, right back at you. There we go. DJ Sunny set up. It'd be funny to see as soon as the stream started. Hiko is taking a nap due to exhaustion. I don't know. Maybe it was the coffee parfait. Maybe it was the affogato that I had. But I came back to life when I had that. I was genuinely, I was in pain and cranky, and I came into like thinking about like skipping out on my friends, and I sort of came in and I had this thing, and so maybe the coffee's still working. Who knows? High on life. But yeah, I'm still here. Got everyone saying hello. Tadom, great to see you, Tadom, and great to see you today. Thanks again. Thanks for sending me the photos that you took of me at the absolute most miserable point at the race, 500 meters before the finish. But actually, yeah, you know what? It really did perk me up, actually. And I was actually even surprised to see I didn't look as terrible as I felt in the photos. The good photos. I really, really appreciate it. It was really nice to see you. And yeah. No, I did as soon as you were shouting out. It's kind of amazing. There's so many people going past. And as you said, including not a small number of people who look like me. There's so many people. Obviously, they make it easier for international runners to get through. They get a separate advanced lottery, which I kind of sneakily participated in, but failed in, then went into the general draw. But because we all get 2 shots, people with foreign and overseas addresses, there was a high percentage of foreigners. So yeah, good job. Yeah, picking me out. Both of you, actually, Laura as well. And really, really appreciate it. You shouting out at the time that you were there. So yes, indeed. Everybody doing woohoos. We're all good. Black Tengu, tea time in Athens. Time for a cuppa. Have that cuppa. That stuff is good for you. I'm gonna have a Pocari. I can already feel. I'm still basically still trying to hydrate. Mm. Um, Dan H, I went into the official app actually this evening. In fact, I can't show you because it's got all my personal information all over it. But yeah, they actually show both the gross time, which is the time from the starter, which was 3:39, and they have a net time, which marks as 0 from when you cross the start line. And I think that's what they'll give you credit for as your official time. So they accurately, on my watch, I actually got 3 hours, 31 minutes, and 30 seconds. And on the official time on the net, like from when I crossed the start line, it was 3 hours, 31, 13. I'll take that. It's 15 seconds faster. So actually, yeah, there's both. The gross time was 3:39, but that allows for the 8 minutes it took me to get to the start line, and the 3:31. So it wasn't just on my watch. It's on the official. It's subject to updating. So apparently there will be a published official time that will be updated on the app later on. And I pre-ordered a race jacket, which will have my time printed on it, which they will send to me after. So, yeah, it looks like both the watch and the current version on the app both confirmed 3:31. So pretty good about that. Uh-oh, that video, LOL. What video? Oh, yeah, the White House one, probably. We'll get to that. Talk, talking about better things, like punching my feet with baseball bats for 3.5 hours. That's much more fun than talking about the White House. Odie Jr., great to see you. You're back, baby. Bada boom, bada bing. Yes, I see that. The bing with the bell. Very, very good. We got squirrels. We got peanuts. We got, I don't know, what are those people? I can't tell what those little black things at the end are, but it's all good. And it's excellent to have you in here, Odie Jr. Aaron, thank you for completing my first marathon. That looked rough at the end. It's supposed to be rough at the end. There is a thing in marathons that you hear about, which is what people train for, which is the wall, which is when you run out of, it's like your body runs out of the food that you ate and it runs out of the ready to burn fat even, and it just starts like destroying itself. And that normally happens at about 35K, and started happening to me at 34K. I was taking Pocari cups. I even took a banana at one point, just to try to keep a little bit fueled and to keep minerals, to stop cramps and stuff like that. But yeah, there's no avoiding that. Wall was intense. I can actually go through. Maybe I should actually go through and capture this in Strava. If you run, by the way, I am on this running social network called Strava. A guy at work put me onto it, and it is cool. And Tokyo Marathon. So, oh, my fitness is back up to 30. The last time my fitness score was this high was when I ran my first ever half marathon. Yeah, you can see a graph there. This shows every kilometer of the 42Ks, and you can sort of see my pace. From the second half, basically, it's a downward trend with one or two fast ones and a slight, like the final kilometer. But you can see how it really dropped off. You can sort of see, after that last blue one, like the final 7K or whatever, I was running about 5 minutes 30 per kilometer. Maybe I can hold that up a bit closer. Oh, let's put it there. So from that perspective, yeah, even slower than 5:30. So, oh god, I could look at it and say, oh, you could have gotten to 3 hours 30 if I just run a couple of those, those final kilometers at a more normal pace. But I was absolutely could not have done any more. I was just in pain-based autopilot. But yeah, it's funny. It was actually, I think, like I said on the video before, it was worse after I finished the race. They made me walk 2 kilometers. I think I had the bus with the luggage like the furthest away from the finish line. And man, walking to the buses after you stop, and all the blood and all of a sudden all the swelling that it's everything stays numb while you're running, and your feet don't get that swollen because you just keep like hitting them so they don't have time to get swollen. But when you stop running, you can feel all of a sudden all the blood and all the inflammation, everything starts going out, and all of a sudden you're paralyzed. So yeah, it was awful, but yeah, I actually, even within today, I've recovered quite a lot. Yeah, hoping I'll be okay. I mean, I'm not going to be perfect, but I hope you'll be okay in the morning. DC is melting down. By that, you mean over Ukraine? Or do you mean it's just hot there? The White House meeting. Jesus Christ. We'll get to that. We should get to that. I mean, I don't know that I've got anything particular. I mean, this is a Japan channel. I'm a Japan guy, but I do care a lot about the conflict in Ukraine. And that was just like, is not even is this real life. Even as a like horror movie, it was bad. It was awful. So yeah. Ida asking, did I run the Tokyo Marathon already? I did. I uploaded a video before. You can see it on my channel. I just uploaded a video an hour ago summarizing the experience, but it did go well. It went really well. Got a great time. And yeah, Aaron's posted the link there. So you can go check that out after the vid. But it's there so you can actually experience it the way I did. I took little videos as the race went on. I was actually, you could see, I'm listening to my tunes. I set up, I was actually playing my DJ software the whole time, and I was running it at 165. And you know, when there's a good tune and you're feeling really good and you're bouncing along at a good pace. And there was one of the videos I was doing, and it just happened to have James Brown singing "I Feel Good." I think when I was going through Akihabara, and I'm like, I was actually singing a lot of the time anyway. Uh, you know, why not? Just you know, you want to feel good and you want to feel like Genki, and you know, "I Feel Good" is like the best possible song. And I was actually feeling good at the time that I sang it. So even on video, I'm surprised, actually, given how similar my voice is to James Brown, that the video hasn't been taken down for copyright, you know, detection. Uh, well, it turns out apparently me singing James Brown on video while in Akihabara while running a marathon does not sound similar enough to James Brown to have my video banned, and I'm very upset with this. So you can check all of that out in the video. Go do that. Shubus, a man from Panama. Great to have you in here. Coffee kampai indeed. Right back at you. The thumbnail looks a lot like Smarter Every Day. You mean of today, or it just picked out a random slide. I didn't make a thumb. I just want to get the video up. But Smarter Every Day, he's a very good looking man. So I don't know what you mean though, with the cap and everything. Yeah. I remember the video Smarter Every Day did on how NASA should be rethinking SLS and so on. And it's kind of funny. Like he's a very intellectual person with a very strong Alabama accent. You know, there's actually a lot of rocket scientists in Alabama. There's a bunch of companies out there, and he's like one of them. So yeah, it's actually I love space stuff, which is why I follow him. And you know, he's very articulate and but at the same time kind of folksy and cool to listen to. And there is something about having that accent, which, you know, when it's not being used as a bad police officer in a movie to say something racist, when that accent is actually being used in a positive and articulate and intelligent way, it's a charming accent. Yeah, I like the channel. And obviously he's an extremely good looking person, as you just said, Mr. Cordy Chip. Who else is in here? We have yeah, Sadiq, great to see you. Warren Anatolia, great to see us. The URTFI being contained. I heard about this, but again, I've been offline this week just between being buried at work and this. So yeah, Laura saw the belly dancers. They were more amazing than me. Yeah, destroyed by Obachan. I was destroyed by Obachan. So there we go. I was top 16 percentile. Don't sell myself short. Well, you know, I look, for a first marathon, I did great, you know, and I kind of had my baseline goal, which I far exceeded, and I had my kind of secret stupid goal, which I almost got. So yeah, I'm very happy with the result. But that said, there's just something, you know, humbling in a good way. And I mean this in a good way. There's something, you know, it's an experience. I think, you know, if you ever hear a sexist old politician saying that, you know, women shouldn't be doing this or that, go run a marathon, dude. Have a bunch of, you know, old overweight ladies kicking your ass in a marathon, and you know, learn a little bit that, you know, your chat forum preconceptions about you know, groups of people. You have to set them all aside. You know, race, gender, weight, you know, body type, all of this stuff. You know, I felt it myself today, and it was a really good experience actually for that. That's what I mean. So, you know, it's also a New Zealand thing. We talk ourselves down. We're a self-deprecating culture, but yeah, no, I'm actually, you know, if I was I should try to be more American or a little bit Australian and say, oh yeah, I was awesome. We just, New Zealanders, we can't do it. I actually really respect that Aussies are like a little bit, you know, have a bit more self-confidence. Sometimes I try to tap into my Australian half and do that. It was good. It was a good day. There's a Mario, a pickle. I missed the pickle. Pickle, damn, I got my ass kicked by a pickle. That doesn't sound good. I think I saw some pink hair. I don't know. There was a Jesus. Okay, I saw a Japanese Jesus. I did not see a Western Jesus. But there again, I mean, maybe the Jesus I saw was real. Maybe real Jesus is Japanese. I mean, there are parts of Japan which assert that. Um, did I see anyone pee or poo themselves? There are a lot of people going to the toilets, and I was really worried about needing to go to the toilet actually. So I was like sitting on the toilet for ages last night trying to get myself empty, and this morning just to make sure I wouldn't have issues with that. I did see. I'll tell you what. At the end, like where Tudon was, there were people like stopping all over the place. There were people with cramps. There were people who were walking, and particularly when you get onto like the cobblestone road on the very final stretch where Tudon was, there were people just tripping up on the cobblestones, and there were some wipeouts where people are falling over and people are falling over them. So there were some pileups. So it was funny that final stretch. Yeah, it was kind of, you could see. So I didn't see any bodily functions like that, but there were a lot of people dropping out. There were a lot of people. I saw some people getting medical attention. Apparently nobody's ever died on the Tokyo Marathon. I mean, it's so well staffed. There's so many volunteers and it's so well run, including medical support. But it's a serious thing. So yeah. Western Jesus. I don't know what Western Jesus means either. But presumably Japanese Jesus would not be covered by that. In the streets, you mean? It's pretty cool to be able to run all through the city of Tokyo. It really was. I mean, the only other way that you could see Tokyo, the way that I saw it, was in a Mario Kart, which I think I've confessed here. While I share the pitchfork wielding mob mentality towards the Mario Karts, there is a not small part of me that thinks, but actually I want to try it. But yeah, actually when you're going through like Asakusa and you're going around Sensoji and the Sky Tree, and when you're going past Tokyo Tower, there are some particular landmarks that you go past, and you're seeing it from the middle of the road, which no one ever gets to do, and that was really cool. There are some less interesting parts that you go through, but I think in the beginning, when until the 25K mark, I was pretty lucid. I was pretty aware of my surroundings. I was like, wow, we're in Akihabara. Wow, we're in Kabukicho. And I was taking videos. Hey, we're in Kabukicho. It's nerd heaven. No, we're in Akihabara, nerd heaven. I mean, hell, nerds might like Kabukicho as well. That's a whole separate conversation. Kabukicho's changed. I mean, in some ways it hasn't changed, but it's got, I don't know if you'd even call that gentrification. It's just become like a tourist, like Disneyland, while remaining at the same time the seediest place in Japan. But you're in through past all these neighborhoods. But after about 25K, I started like not registering my surroundings so much. It was starting to get intense. But it was really, really cool to go around on the roads. It was a nice way to do sightseeing. A long-haired, long-bearded white dude who looked like Jesus. I don't know if that's technically accurate, but there we go. Dan ain't smiling. We got people talking about all kinds of things here. What's this? There's another album coming soon. Scan will be touring Japan again. They're rehearsing already. Okay, cool. I know that you're a big fan, so maybe you have to get over and try to catch one of those concerts. Believe in yourself. Glad that you can make it. And we're caught up. No, we're not caught up. The chat just moved again. Okay, we can do this. Ida's going to check out the video. The marathon video. Check all of that out. It was great. Steve Miller, greetings and salutations. The voice of America himself. Greetings and salutations, marathoner, which I now am. In fact, where is... Wait a minute. I actually had the medal on the disc. Is that it over there? Yeah, I should totally be showing off the medal. Give me a second. By the way, what you can't see, and I'm very glad that you can't see, is I normally make a token effort to clean up the area around me before the show. But yes, I was just literally tripping over stuff going to grab official completion medal. So you get this for completing the Tokyo Marathon, not just a participation menu because a medal, because a lot of people don't complete. It's a serious thing. But thank you, Mr. Steve Miller. Boom, there's the proof. 3 hours, 31 minutes, 13 seconds. And I feel good about it. I've got the other sort of medals from some races in America and stuff like this, but this is serious. This is a Big Six marathon, and yeah, you know, I do appreciate the congratulations, and I feel good about that. The Key Ranger, indeed, good to have you in here, Muslim Jesus. I mean, Muslims are Jesus is a prophet within the Muslim religion, so why not? Why not, eh? Brad F, good to have you in here. About to listen to the birthing thighs. Did I miss something? Not sure about the birthing thighs. Dining, is that during the Santa run when you were there in 2018? Was amazing to run through Tokyo. Would love to do a longer run there. Well, there's a 42K run. I don't know. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. You get to cover a lot of Tokyo, but you hear to listen about the burning thighs. I didn't actually. Yeah, I could go into more detail. I doubt that you want it, but I had a pretty solid anti-chafing strategy. I have no blisters, no chafing, which on a 42K run is yes. I've learned my skills in this regard to avoid that. So no burning thighs if that's what you're talking about. Kabukicho is probably made famous from the Yakuza games and the Amazon Prime series. Oh yeah, the video games and the Tokyo Vice series. I mean, that would definitely enhance. I mean, yeah, Kabukicho is already famous, but yeah, there's been some sort of development there. There's a big like fancy hotel, and there's a big movie theater with a huge Godzilla statue, and yeah, it's kind of funny. I've had like tourist friends come and say, "Hey, I want to meet. Should we meet up in Kabukicho?" I'm like, "Are you serious?" And I go there, and it's actually kind of a really nice place to go to now. But yeah. Brad F, everyone's saying hello to Steve, a Key Ranger. Indeed, great to have you in the chat, and thank you again for the likes. Only nine likes. The man just ran a marathon. Is going to do a DJ set. I will do a DJ set as well. Although I'm going to have to seriously clear this desk. It might be a little bit of setup time for that, but I will do it. I will do it. I'm not going to go late. I do have to work tomorrow, and I am screwed. But there we go. Okay, I am now caught up. The chat. Are they going to update? They're not, I don't think. I'm going to have a quick look over here. Oh, it is actually showing the live thing, so I'm going to pause that. But this only says 3 likes. How many likes? 11 likes. Okay, so there's been 2 likes. But yeah, please remember, remember, I do not monetize these videos. Just so that basically it's an implicit bribe for likes. That's pretty much all that I'm doing it for. But yeah, given I'm not making money off these, I do just do it pretty much for the likes. So if you enjoy me doing this every week, please do leave a like. I do appreciate it, and it helps the channel. All of that said, so let's go through quickly. I need to assess myself. I haven't even looked at the topics that we'd have. So of course we have the shit show in the White House, which is not Japan related, but and I don't even know that I want to talk about it, honestly. Japan's about to land a toy on the moon again, which will be pretty cool. Oh yeah, Japan's foreign workers have increased. I mean, that's something I talk about all the time, but there we go. And is there really, how do Japanese companies handle conflict? There's a good discussion there. Gunma being nice, I can talk about, like the Kyushu crime story. That's all that I have this week. I've not really caught up the news very well. So, Pocari, sponsor of the Tokyo Marathon. Have some water as well. Black Tinker, yes, the yen is now in the 140 zone again. I say 140 zone, like 149. But given that it's been, in the 150s, even the high 150s for so long, the yen is strengthening. I really wonder, it's always a case of, is the yen really strengthening, or is the US dollar getting cheaper? I don't really know how to rationally interpret America anymore on any level. But at that said, I suppose, generally speaking, I have some shares and stuff in US dollars, but yes, no, I think the fact that I am basically a third world exchange student, whenever I go overseas lately, everything is, the Japanese yen is so weak, I have no money. I think the yen is long overdue a correction. So yeah, any decline, any strengthening of the yen is a good thing for me, and it really should be I kid you not, 110 or less. That's what it should be. Oh, it did that thing. It did that thing. You're following me. Stop stalking me, camera. Okay, I'm going to turn this. It has to be a technical issue. But yeah, boom. Stop tracking and stop recognizing hand. I wish I could turn this off permanently. Okay, no more gesture settings. A little bit of the monitor over there. Oh, and some of my messy desk, which I do not want to show. Yeah, 110 aligns with what stuff costs overseas. So I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick poll. Do you want to hear me talk about the White House kerfluffle? Kerfuffle, I don't even know what to call that. It's just, it was horrible. I almost don't want to talk about it, but I feel like I have to. Do you want me to talk more about the Tokyo Marathon? Do you want to ask me any sort of random questions? Do you want me to talk about the foreign worker trends in Japan? Do you want me to talk about how conflict happens? How do Japanese companies manage conflict? And those are literally, do you want me to talk about Gunma? Those are literally all the topics that I have prepared. What do you want to say? Anything. Odie Jr. votes for White House, and Dan H asks for anything but the White House, please. To which Aaron comes back, White House. Did I watch Elon on Rogan recently? No, I don't watch Rogan. I watch Rogan some, but I don't know. I'm not watching. There's too many really long podcasts, so I don't have enough time. You're not talking about the one where he smoked weed, right? Okay. Maybe they should do round 2 in the Blue House. Why would they go to Korea? By the way, you know the Blue House is a real thing, right? And if you do know that, then I don't know why you'd suggest that, but I think I'm going to keep it simple. I don't even know. I'm so lost for words over it. Look, it's between the two things. Trump trying to treat this like it's a business deal that he's trying to set up, and he needs both the sides to be friends with each other. When effectively, I have to use a strong word for this that I think gets censored on these videos. But essentially, you're talking about a situation where Russia, if it was a person, I'm not going to say the word because all the other creators, they avoid this word, and I think it can get the video sort of banned or whatever. But it's basically violating. I mean, they are literally violating this Ukraine, and and the world is rushing to come and they're not coming in to actually defend Ukraine directly, but they're giving Ukraine the tools to sort of try to fight off this Russia, which is still in the process of violating and invading and taking more territory and killing civilians and killing people for no good reason. And I don't know. This is a perspective where, and all of a sudden, the person being raped is being criticized for not wanting to compromise with the rapist. Like the whole framing of the whole conflict as being something where hey, let's get a deal done over your rape. Person being raped. You have to be more willing to compromise and, let them stay in or something like that. That's literally the way that's the way that I view the whole discussion about that. And, that's one thing that I find difficult. And of course, just the whole thing, the way that it blew up, everybody only saw the last 10 minutes, and I found it so disturbing and incomprehensible. I went looking for right-wing sources that would sort of explain to me a little bit better, like how it got there. And I haven't watched the whole interview, but as I understand, it was a relatively civil 40-minute discussion. It is clear at the start of where things fell apart that JD Vance, he wasn't actually attacking. Well, he was slightly attacking Zelensky, but essentially he was trying to score points against Biden, saying, look at how Biden screwed everything up. And look at what a mistake it was for Zelensky to, come and support Biden campaigning in the election. Which this is the risk if you do endorse a candidate in a foreign political election and they lose, you are going to have to eat some shit, and that was clearly what he was gleefully doing at that time. But he was kind of basically making a domestic consumption political statement criticizing Biden, and Zelensky was kind of coming back and factually fact checking him and asked to respond, and I wanted to start going through and responding. And nothing he said was wrong. Nothing he said was wrong. But the point was, he was pushing back on a political point, on an American domestic political point, where essentially, and this is the thing, this is Trump and Vance were both together trying to score domestic political points over the rape of Ukraine. And when Ukraine went to go and correct some of the facts that were stated, they interpreted that as a political attack and they just unleashed on him. But it's not only that, it's just the fact that it just makes America and the current administration, to me, look absolutely beholden to the Russians. Like the Russians look like they are in control of the thinking of the White House on this, either through the rumored urination tape. I don't know if that's it, or they literally just like to believe Russian propaganda. Russian propaganda is just so good, or their minds are just so weak that they're easily influenced by obvious, kind of anti-factual propaganda from Russia that they are just espousing. The idea that he's a dictator, the idea that he refuses diplomatic solutions and all this sort of stuff. So, it's just so disturbing. I mean, I don't know, the fact that they try to score political points off a country, off the leader of a country in the process of being raped, and on top of that, doing that while basically taking the side of and even using the arguments, well, you are asking for it. Literally, you are asking for it. Literally saying that the victim was the one who initiated the attack on themselves. I mean, just unthinkable. And I suppose, and at the same time, it'd be great if the world could do without America. But the problem is Europe, because it's so bad at managing itself, created a situation that Europe and Ukraine remain dependent. There are no alternatives to dependence on the United States. And the United States I'm sympathetic to the United States feeling like it's being taken for granted, because it has been taken for granted by Europe. Europe hasn't been spending on defense or trying to develop an independent capability. They've been relying on America coming to defend them. And it's changing its mind right now, and it's a crisis in Europe. But it kind of proves that Trump is right on that point, and that frustrates the hell out of me. But I found it extremely disturbing and depressing. And I, as much as I'm trying to ignore the United States, like this is just so wrong. And I'm not going to say anything more than that. Yeah, I think Dan H was right saying that. Yeah. At least Trump didn't say we should also make it a Riviera on the Black Sea. Yeah. I, I mean, the Black Sea is lovely, but yeah, we haven't quite gone that far yet. Well, he doesn't need to, because he's believing that the Russians are going to do it. So all of that stuff, anyway. So what was Ukraine wearing? An Invade Me shirt. Exactly right. I mean, it's literally yeah. Okay, I'm not going to say anything more, because honestly, I have no more of an informed opinion than anyone else, and I know that there are people who join this chat who I respect who disagree with my take on this whole thing. But anyway, no more talking about Ukraine. But it was just wow. That was just like, it's not even idiocracy anymore. My comment that this is now like assholeocracy. They're just such assholes, and they're proud of it. They're campaigning on it. They're winning votes and support based on it. They're literally like pro wrestling heels, and they're leaning into it. And people are voting for it, which just yeah. So the world needs to learn to take care of itself without America. And by the way, I understand that the offer to make Canada a 51st state of America has actually been changed. They're actually going to become an oblast of America. So I don't know if that makes it better or worse, but there we go. Why am I not wearing a suit on a stream? Because I have no respect for you. This is a Tokyo Marathon runner exclusive. Oh yeah, check it out. I should show you this. This is only runners can get this. So proof again that I it's like a Tokyo Marathon exclusive shirt. I didn't actually get there's a couple of design shirts, but I got this one, and this is my omiyage. Got the hat as well. I was wearing this earlier on the thing, Tokyo Marathon 2025. So these are all like runner exclusive. I now look like smarter every day. So yeah, I don't know. I like this shirt. I do. This is my omiyage, so you probably see me wear it again. It is a cool shirt. Thank you. Eat it. Trump, the Jake Paul of politics. That's being a bit harsh on Jake Paul there, I think, for a statue. Anyway, moving on. I mean, I want to be sympathetic. I mean, America's tired of looking after the world. I'm sympathetic to that, and the rest of the world should be better able to look after itself. But do we have to find out this way? It is going to work, and if it does work, he'll probably take credit for it. Foreigners, the rate of increase, I suppose this went down. Someone pointed out, I was like, wow, it really went down under the Democrats and it went up under Abe. And someone pointed out, well, did something happen in 2011 that might have caused the number of foreigners to go down in Japan? And it didn't go, but the increase rate declined. Of course, I forgot. That's right. There was the nuclear power plant explosion and tsunami. So yeah, that would put a slight damper on that. But you can see, though, that Abe, for someone who is considered to be anti-foreigner and anti-immigration, sure promoted a lot of immigration. And then I've had people say, no, but they were like cheap jobs. I don't know. It's like all of a sudden you've got like a social justice warrior claiming that he was bringing in low-class immigrants. I don't really know how to respond to that. But I've had debates like this. But yeah, it does kind of show how this increase rate, and it's up again. Of course, it dropped with the pandemic again, but Japan is like pumping in the foreign residents, and they have gone from 2008 when it was just under 500,000 foreign workers to now, nearly 2.5 million. So, Japan is dramatically changing that. That's one of the good things about that. You got 30 likes. Wow. Um, you hope to get a yeah, DJ Sunny set up hopes to get a shirt like this in a Second Street at a Second Street. Oh, so yeah, in about a year. Yeah, well, these are like if I sold this on, I've seen these on eBay. There was a design that I wanted that I couldn't get, so I went and looked on eBay, and they're all going for like 30,000 yen. Which is I only paid 5,000 yen for this, but I love this thing. This is I mean, damn, I genuinely trained for directly for like daily for 8 weeks, and for about 3 or 4 months, like seriously. And I went through a lot of pain for this. So this shirt, I'm keeping it, and it's a cool design. But yeah, final topic I'll talk about. There is a great article. Gaijin Pot's kind of hit and miss, but Gaijin Pot here talking about, this is actually written by Masayoshi Sakamoto, who I suspect may be Japanese. And while you should never generalize about an entire culture and an entire country, this article generalizes about an entire culture and an entire country, and it's pretty much what I would say. it's pretty accurate. Japanese workers avoid conflict. Nothing's ever 100%, but it's a good way to understand. And the idea of particularly how when foreigners come in and they the most the sort of issues and the communication styles. I remember my first job when I pissed off my boss at one point for not checking some work sufficiently, not running enough tests on some programs I was running for a system migration, and there were some bugs that came up on the real test where I was supposed to have pre-tested it. I was tired. I pre-tested. I thought it was okay. Then a test came up. When he ran tests, he found some bugs, and he said, "Didn't you pre-test this?" And I said, "Yeah, I pre-tested it." He's like, "If you had really pre-tested it, I wouldn't be finding any bugs in it." And I'm like, well, look, I obviously didn't do enough tests or the right tests, but I did do tests, and he's saying, and then he was like, no, if you didn't do the tests, if you didn't do all the tests, then it's the same as lying. That you didn't do any tests. I'm like, well, I didn't lie. I did do tests. I just didn't do them well enough. He's like, no, if you didn't do all the proper tests, then you didn't do any tests. That's what you need to answer that. And he got pissed off, and he didn't talk to me for a week, which in Japan is like the ultimate. It's like, beyond, taking you down and rage and anger. Then after they stop talking to you, the problem is I come from New Zealand. And so when my boss, who's I thought was being a bit of a dick, I mean, I was wrong, and I had things to learn from this that I did take from this, but he's trying to express his top level rage at me by giving me a complete free hand and just leaving me alone. So, it's like I knew enough about Japanese culture already to know that, oh, this is actually a really, really bad level that he's actually like no longer even talking to me. But at the same time, it's like, this is awesome. This is so much better than him like nagging me. He's just leaving me alone. This is great. And I was probably possibly showing my enjoyment of the situation too much. But yeah, when they stop talking to you, while from a Western cultural perspective, that might seem like a win, it's not. It's not. Don't do that. Um, but yeah, it's a good article from gaijinpot.com. I'll drop it in the comments. And I'm too tired to think about it deeply. Honestly, I ran 42 kilometers today, so I'm not really ready for a cultural deep dive. But you know, Trump in Ukraine is about the deepest intellectual level that I can get to today, if I'm being perfectly honest. But yes, I'm glad that you appreciated this story. This was me as a 23-year-old. Yes, learning to deal with Japanese culture. It's like, wow, I'm really in trouble, but I don't feel anything because I'm not conditioned to feel bad about this. This is awesome. But yes. So I'll tell you what, we've got a couple more minutes. Maybe it's a good thing I didn't go through topics. Any other questions? Any other topics? Any other? I mean, look, the race was a good experience. I'm not planning to do another one. I think I might in the future, but I'm not. Definitely, you hear about this thing of people like a week after the first marathon when they start to recover and they start to realize the purpose in their life that they've had for the last couple of months is now gone, and they start looking for new races to sign up to get some purpose back. I don't think I'm going to be like that. I'm really looking forward to doing Muay Thai again. I didn't do Muay Thai because I didn't want to like miss the Tokyo Marathon because I dislocated a finger, which I did before I went to New Zealand. Did I mention that? I actually dislocated I dislocated my index finger, my pointy finger, punching somebody in hard spirit karate, which I was doing a Muay Thai lesson, and the karate guys were like, "Hey, you should come over and try some of this Kyokushin Kempo. We're sparring. We need an extra person." So they put these really thin gloves. I'm used to wearing like full gloves, like for boxing. They put these really thin gloves on, and they said, so long as I'm punching on the soft parts, like in the shoulder, like in the sort of soft part of the shoulder, not on the bone or anything like that. I said, you can punch them as hard as they like. We're trying to toughen them up. We actually practice like, hitting them with, kicking them in the legs and stuff. We're trying to toughen up their spirits. That's how this karate thing works. That's like, I did actually have to get kicked at the end of the lesson. It's a horrible thing. I will not do Kyokushin Kempo. I know some people who have done it actually, but like some foreigners. But it's literally a kind of building a tough spirit thing. But they told me I was allowed to just punch these guys as hard as I liked with these sort of thin gloves on, and I kind of did, and it was great. But I actually punched one of the guys so hard. I punched him in the shoulder. But every time they came to me, I would just do the old karate like switch, straight push punch. And somewhere along the line, my knuckles started getting swollen. I couldn't move my hand for like a week. So that sort of thing, I wouldn't want to miss the Tokyo Marathon for, which is why I stopped doing that for a while. But I'm looking forward to getting back into some Muay Thai. And yeah, I'll look if there's a good opportunity. I might do a run again. But I did not mention that I dislocated. Yeah, before I went to New Zealand, it was funny. While I was still punching people, my whole finger started getting purple. It was getting swollen and cutting off the blood. It was getting trapped in my finger. And I couldn't move it. I had it fully iced for a few days, and it was very inconvenient actually. But yeah, it was kind of fun. I've never hit someone actually. I've never been in a real fight. I've been in a couple of school fights where I was attacked, and I didn't really do very well in them. But I've never, I do sparring and stuff like that, but it's always with protective kit on, and always 10% or you agree how much force you're going to use. I've never done a full force punch on a person before. Until this thing, it was really fun. But yeah, like I said, I discovered that the body isn't really designed for that sort of thing. So anyway, I'll get back into doing maybe some weights as well. I'm realizing all this cardio I'm doing is great for health, but it's not life extending. Nowadays, everyone says you should do weights. So I'm going to try doing some weights and try to actually build up some muscle, try to load the guns a bit. I mean, I'm not doing bad at the moment, but I'll do all of that. Yeah. Yeah, it could have been dangerous. I got some ice on it. got the swelling down, and all went back to normal after like a day. It took about more than a week to get better, actually. Okay, I am going to set up the after party. The after party link, Erin, if you could drop that in the chat. However, I not only have to tidy up here a little bit, I also have to go to the toilet, which I just realized. So I'm going to end the stream now. Thank you for keeping me company. Definitely go watch the Tokyo Marathon summary video. I actually rewatched it. Is it like vain to watch your own video back and say, oh, that's a really good video? I did. It is a good video. It's 18 minutes long, however. But yeah, hang around for the after party. I've got some new music. I didn't do the new music stream last night because I was going to sleep early. So I'll throw on some new music and I will take all of your requests. I will not stay up too late. But give me about 5 minutes because I'll go and come back and I'll set up the stream. So look, thanks everyone for all the likes. 30 likes? Was it really 30 likes? I'm just going to refresh this. That is insane. 29 likes. Maybe someone took a like back when I said I punched people and dislocated a finger, which would be fair. I appreciate all the likes and support. Thank you for keeping me company every week. Sorry I didn't have all my topics together this week, but at the same time, I did have things to talk about. I really do love this group of people. I really loved seeing some of you when I was out running. You know, it meant a lot, actually. It was great to see you guys. And yeah, and actually my whole journey of preparing for this and sharing with you every week and now, you know, succeeding in it, it's nice. It's nice to be able to share it with all of you, and I do appreciate that every week. Just as I appreciate being able to share the music. I love that so many of you hang around. So we'll go and do that. Oh, thank you, Eric Bailey. I do appreciate that. So yeah, I'll see you all in a few minutes. And yeah, and then I'm going to go and completely pass out after the music. But we're gonna do some music. I've been doing music all day. I've been literally playing the DJ software while I was running. It was awesome. Have a good one, everyone. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. See you on the live stream, which Erin has the link for up there. And boom, see you later.